This video is specifically for Scott Kerr. He's been having an ongoing problem with his video clips stabilizing every time he starts his project. And when they do this, and he says he has 50 clips, and they're all doing it. And so he has a rather large project that he's working on. And that is making his project very laggy and very slow for him to edit. So how can he get around this problem? So I've been working on this problem for a little while with him, and I think I've figured out his situation. He posted this screenshot of his videos actually trying to stabilize when he opens a project, which of course kills all of his ability to edit. Now I asked him to make sure that his temp files aren't being deleted. And in fact, if we zoom in on this here, we can see that in fact they're not. And in fact, he has 17 gigabytes of temporary files. But mainly, let me see if I can center this. We can see specifically here that the temp files are not being cleared out. So in this case, it turns out that's a good thing. So let's start from the beginning of his issue and then work our way through it. First of you, for those of you who are not familiar with stabilization, it's used to stabilize video if it's shaky. And even a very short clip can take some time to actually go through the stabilization process. You can see that this video clip here is stabilized. And I'm going to take this other short clip right here, and I'm going to run the stabilization on that. Now, what stabilization does is it looks at your video and it tries to adjust each frame relative to the previous frames so that it appears to be taken from the same perspective, from the same direction. And so therefore it's a two-step process where it first has to analyze it and then it has to go back and fix it. And over the years, Filmora has made some changes to this process, trying to make it easier for people to understand. But anyway, the reason that it takes a long time is it has to analyze every single frame within each video. So let's just do that here. And then we can see here is the processing going on. Now, unbeknownst to me when Scott posted this question, is that first of all, you can see that the little icon here is circling, and also more importantly, you can see up here that something is going on, and this actually shows you the task list, and it shows you that this is in the process of being stabilized. Okay. Now, unbeknownst to me at the time when he first posted this question is that you can actually skip ahead. I did see at one point they said, let it go and you can go and do other work while this is being done. So we could click over here and we could start stabilization here. But now it's going to say waiting because it can only do one at a time. The task list will actually show what things are in progress of being taken care of. And so obviously this one isn't even going to start until this one is done. Now what Scott had done is he had gone through and clicked 50 of these, and so they were all in a list. And here's the situation. If you do a file save on the project, and then let's just close out the project. We'll just open up a new project temporarily. And then you come back the next day and you open up your project again. And here's the project we're working on. It's going to continue with the stabilization. And it's starting all over from the first one that we started. And now the second one is waiting. So therefore, it's never really going to get done if you're doing it that way. So the first important note to remember is that stabilization should only be done on one clip at a time. You shouldn't be trying to do multiples. Okay, so what he did is did 50 of them, and because of that, his computer just ran out of resources. It didn't have enough memory, it didn't have enough processing capacity. And what we can see is what happens when you're doing stabilization here. We'll bring up the task manager, and we've gone, normally it comes up under processes, but we've gone into the performance section. And it will be doing writing to a hard drive. If this hard drive is not a local hard drive, say it's an external hard drive because you prefer to work on that, that's going to be a real bottleneck. If it's not an SSD drive, that's going to be a bottleneck. A typical hard drive could be just a HD. But if it was like an external drive like this one here, you're going to be sitting around waiting for a long time. So anyway, that can be a bottleneck if you don't have the proper hard drive. Let's just move this out of the way. Again, this one is still waiting because the other one is still processing. And because we turned it off and then turned it back on again, it started from scratch. Let's just do a file, save. I'll just click the save button here. We haven't done anything, so we really can't save the project, but we can close it and we can open up a new project, and then we'll go in and reopen it again. Now, mind you, that one was almost done, the first one. So we will open up our recent project here, and it will load up again. And let's click up here, and we can now see that this one that was almost done is having to restabilize because it was incomplete. It's designated as having to be stabilized. So how do you get out of this mess? That's the biggest thing. Well, one thing that I did find out is that if you go into File, Preferences, and you go to Media Cache, and you clear out these temporary files, things are going to get even worse for you. And I'm going to clear it right there. We're going to apply it. And now what we're going to see is, well, we're going to see there's two of them. But actually, I have this one over here also, which was stabilized, or it calls for it to be stabilized. It calls for this to be stabilized and this to be stabilized. So we're going to just do File. And again, we can't save it, so we'll just go ahead and open a new project. And now we're going to reopen our stabilization project. And let's see what we have up here. Again, we started from scratch. So if you don't let the process go to the end, then it's going to, it's just going to restart from scratch every time. So how do you get out of this mess? Well, basically what you want to do is you want to undo all of this stuff. You go into these and you take off the stabilization, go in here, take off the stabilization, and you can see now the task list is done. So there is nothing on our task list here. So do not try to do too many things at the same time. Even though you can do it within Filmora, your equipment probably isn't capable of doing it. I'm going to go in here one more time. I'm going to clear out the media cache. Okay, we got proxy files being created. We've got temporary files being created. This includes stabilization files. And we will go ahead and apply that. And now we will save the project. And then we will go and let's just open a project here just to clear it out. And now we will open up our project again. And in opening it up, because we have either completed stabilization or because we've removed all the stabilization, our task list is now empty. So that's the key problem that Scott is incurring. Now I'm going to put in the description of this video a link to my channel, because this user group does not allow me to post videos on it, so I can't post this video I'm making right now. All I can do is suggest that you go to my channel and look up this video.